Another single fish to go, Apollo icebergs never show more. More deep involvement artista. Fish in river reach a I said another single fish to go, Apollo icebergs never show more deep involvement artista. Fish in river reach a stop. If you take quotation, pure and smart, feel veneration is the start book. Propelling into fear and thought. A total reverse beyond the far. If you take quotation, pure and smart, feel veneration is the start propelling into fear and thought. Total regress beyond and far. Rest and start, we show and smart is an new change and that hard to take a start. I said another single fish to go. Another single fish to go. Apollo icebergs never show more deep environment or twist. The fish in river we took a fear. If you take quotation, pure and smart, feel veneration is the start propelling interfere at the total request beyond the far. No less and start with show and smart is an unequal strength that hard to take a start. So said another single fish to go up.
Fox News alert, we are less than an hour away from the President's State of the Union address. At any moment, Joe Biden will be leaving 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the presidential limo, the Beast, and making his way to the Capitol building where we're told he's planning a feisty economic reset. A reset necessary as the president struggles to convince the country Bidenomics is working in an election year where he's stuck with historically low approval ratings and losing to former President Donald Trump. The oldest president in American history, Joe Biden, also wears another belt. Probably the worst orator occupying the White House in modern times. In his first 3 years, he's been unable to effectively use the bully pulpit to persuade voters or even thrust himself into a better political position. Most of the country, including large swaths of Democrats, fear Biden's not physically or mentally capable of serving another term, which is why nights like tonight, with tens of millions of Americans watching, every misstep and misstatement will be severely scrutinized. His own Justice Department labeled him a painfully slow elderly man with a poor memory and diminished faculties. The media flirted with the notion of replacing him, but that effort failed. And Democrats, unless he face plants into the lap of a senator, are stuck with Biden as their standard bearer. Behind the scenes, Democrats are saying, we are all nervous over the president's ability to speak without blowing things tonight. And what Democrats want is emotion. Can the 80-year-old president deliver a clear and powerful defense of his administration? Lay out a bold vision for the next 4 years? And pulverize Trump's Republican Party with stinging and memorable rhetoric? The New York Times says they want to let Dark Brandon off the chain for the night. Others say they want main character energy from a man who needs permission to answer questions and disappears to Delaware for days unseen. But Biden's never been the main character of Washington. He plagiarizes from the main character. He spent 8 years as the number 2 and 30 years as one of 100 senators. Biden, the politician, has never been able to motivate the masses. A golden tongue, he does not possess. They say that Joe Biden cares about regular folks, but even that reputation soured. As the union hasn't been strong and the president hasn't lifted a finger, America today is more expensive and dangerous than it was 4 years ago. We've been invaded by millions of migrants, and some of them have committed the most heinous crimes. Child rape, assault, and murder. Illegal immigration is now the top issue in the nation, and the president, who has the power to address it, casts blame and dodges, expecting the media to cover for it. And with wars in Europe and the Middle East, the American taxpayers are financing. We feel uneasy and lack confidence in the commander-in-chief, who seems distracted, while we beg for his attention. So tonight will be a campaign speech instead of an honest assessment. The president's created problems and blamed others for not solving them. So expect to hear hoaxes, smears, and spin. We'll hear how he's saving democracy here and around the world, how he neutralized the pandemic, and how he'll restore Roe v. Wade. And anybody who disagrees is an extremist. The American people have heard it before, and nothing Joe Biden can say tonight will make us forget his failure. He's losing every swing state, losing independence, and his coalition of black, Hispanic, and young voters. Because the country's waking up. Peace and prosperity remain vivid in our rearview mirror. And we have the self-respect to demand the quality of life that we deserve. A quality of life that's been mismanaged and squandered by listless and conniving politicians. We're a hardworking people, a noble nation. We understand justice and the difference between right and wrong. You have the power to choose our leaders, and when they don't lead, you take their power away. Let's bring in Brett Baer, Martha McCallum, and White House correspondent Peter Ducey. Peter, what is the vibe at the White House this evening?
Well, I can tell you from standing here on the North Lawn, there are a lot more people here at the White House at 8 p.m. than we usually see. And it seems like the vibe is one of curiosity because they know exactly what President Biden is going to say. Anybody that was with him for Camp David for the 4 days that he was there working on this has heard him read the script probably 100 times. But the unknown is something that they have been preparing him for, but protests in the chamber. They talk a lot about how President Biden maybe doesn't need to debate Donald Trump because he displayed last year at the State of the Union that he can put down hecklers from the Republican Party. That's what they say happened last year at this speech. But tonight they have to prepare for emotional outbursts from people in his own party. They say they know that once he gets to talking about how they're going to have the U.S. military build a new port in Gaza so that they can more easily get aid in there, people get upset. Because unless he stands there and says, I want Israel to lay down their arms, I want a full ceasefire, there are people that are going to be in the chamber, like Rashida Tlaib, who last week organized an effort to get 100,000 Michiganders to vote uncommitted. She could stand up and say anything. And that is a problem